Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of You, Me, and He. I'm your host, Rob Lambert, and I'm joined by my co-host.
This is Drew Carroll.
Drew Carroll.
This is Josh. Yeah, we kind of botched that one.
Well, that was a cluster. Way to go, guys. Good job.
Well, it's a good indicator of what the show's going to be like.
Excellent. Well, hey, speaking of, welcome to the show, everybody. Just want to say, make sure that you subscribe and check us out on iTunes. Leave us a review there. Give us a 5-star if you do. It really helps out the show. Make sure you check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/youmehepodcast. Great content. Tonight we were talking about the UFC and Conor McGregor getting arrested. What else were we talking about? Avatar,
James Cameron.
Titanic and how amazing it is, right?
Oh my
Drew?
gosh.
How Robert, who wanted to film movies, has like the worst taste in them. Like,
All right, let's not give it away. Let's not give it all away. So you can check that out on Patreon for just $2 a month. I think we'll get you in there. So check that out. So fellas, I had something really interesting come across my social media this week. In fact, our friend Benjamin Ryan Cooper left me a little article on my timeline on Facebook that I think, Josh, you might want to speak into. How do you feel about that?
okay, hit me with it.
The post is originally by an account called Flat Earth Believers. And Benjamin said, I'm just leaving this here. And let me read this to you. This is what the Flat Earth Believers say. Have you ever been to Australia? Australia is not real. It's a hoax made up for us to believe that Britain moved their criminals someplace. In reality, all these criminals were loaded off the ships into the water, drowning before they could see land ever again. It's a cover-up for one of the greatest mass murders in history, made by one of the most prominent empires. I don't know why I'm laughing. That's horrific. Okay, it says, Australia does not exist. All things you call proof are actually well-fabricated lies and documents made by the leading governments of the world. Your Australian friends, they're all actors and computer-generated personas, part of the plot to trick the world. If you think you've ever been to Australia, you're terribly wrong. The plane pilots are all in on this and have, in all actuality, only flown you to islands close nearby, or in some cases, parts of South America where they've cleared space and hired actors to act out as real Australians.
Why are you laughing?
Dude, because I'm imagining, I don't know how many millions of people.
Can you prove that
live
Australia
there.
does exist?
I've never been there. I've met people, and I know people who have been there, supposedly. Allegedly.
Allegedly. They think
But I'm just
they've been
imagining, millions of people probably live there, right? Millions of people. I don't know.
I mean, I think that's probably accurate.
So millions of people go home.
Hang on. I'm Googling the population of Australia.
Somewhere. I don't know where they are.
They all hop on a boat and they go to New Zealand after they're done with their day. Okay.
Take off their blonde hair and peel off their tans and start talking in a different accent or maybe a different language altogether.
Okay, I will say it is pretty fishy that New Zealand and Australia's accents sound quite similar.
That is fishy.
And Drew,
aren't they
Drew,
in
you
similar
are-
regions? Again, I've never been to either.
Well,
So it's just a guess.
Well, here's the thing. Number one, you're right. There's a lot of 24.6 million.
Okay, so yeah, that's a lot of
Allegedly.
actors.
That's a lot of people. But here's the deal, dude.
Allegedly.
I've watched a buttload of the Wiggles, and they're apparently from Australia.
You should never use buttload and the Wiggles in the same sentence.
That was concerning.
I've watched a buttload of Wiggles.
So the final paragraph just says, Australia is one of the biggest hoaxes ever created, and you have all been tricked. Join the movement today and make it known that they have been deceived.
So where do people go when they go on vacation to Australia? Where are they actually
He
going?
just said it. South
New Ze-
America.
South America?
Islands off of South America, or South Africa, I'm sorry.
South
Africa. Where they hire Australians who are really just ferried from a boat from New Zealand to make you think that you're in Australia.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if they could build a 20-mile round box for Truman to live in, they
Yes.
could definitely create
Yes,
the amphitheater
a movie made a movie
for Australia off the coast of South Africa.
Yes.
for everyone to
for
travel
the whole
to.
world. Everyone in the world is the
And what you
Truman
guys
Show.
don't understand is that the lizard people and globalists are in on this
Yes.
Oh
conspiracy.
my gosh, here we go.
So, what?
You just said a week or two ago that you don't believe in the lizard people. And
I just became a believer this week.
oh, of course you did.
So-
Probably 5 minutes ago.
I'd love to hear how that happened.
It happened as you read the story.
Can
because it
someone
fits the
please tell me
narrative.
why these flat earthers don't think that Australia exists? Because I believe that Australia exists. That's okay. I'm just gonna say that just seems so asinine to me.
They don't really explain why. They just say it's a hoax.
Let me make something very clear. Flat earthers are like libertarians. They all have a different idea of what freedom is supposed to be like, just like they have a different idea of how.
What the flat Earth looks
Yes, exactly, and how everything works in
like.
concert.
Why pick on Australia out of everything?
Because no one cares.
Okay, wait a minute. You're not going to believe this. I went to Google and I Googled Australia is a hoax. And the first thing that pops up is a article from The Guardian.
No.
Headline: Australia doesn't exist, and other bizarre geographic conspiracies that won't go away. The first line of the article:
won't go away.
A theory denying the existence of the country is gaining ground. Oh my gosh! This
Wow,
is
dude.
amazing.
That's awesome.
Australia might just disappear. Just
Dude, it says that high on the list of other countries that people claim don't exist is Finland.
Why? I just don't understand why. That really goes beyond all reason.
dude, maybe no other countries exist. We're the only ones living here, and we just get fed all this stuff. Like there's all these things going on in the world.
Or maybe none of us actually exist and we're all living in a computer simulation and we're told what to think.
Yeah, dang it.
So the end of this article on The Guardian, it says, in these days of fake news and mainstream media conspiracies, though it doesn't do to take anything for granted, The Guardian contacted a diplomatic source who agreed to speak off the record and confirm that they could confirm what they could about the existence or otherwise of Finland and Australia. Hang on, let me look out the window, the source replied, before confirming that Finland existed. And then the final line, the source was unable to provide similar confirmation for Australia. Dude.
That would be awesome if you were like some sort of representative and somebody was asking you about that and you pretending like you're being watched.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great,
You know,
dude.
I believe my fair share of conspiracies, man. I don't think it's any secret that on this show that, you know, I love conspiracy theories. I think there's a lot of validity to a lot of conspiracy theories, but Australia not existing is just one I don't know if I could actually get on board with.
I hope that Australia exists because according to our analytics, we have 3 listeners in Australia. So is this just a part of the cabal, like the
do
global
we?
cabal?
Yeah. Joke's on us.
Or do we? Yeah. I actually kind of hope that Australia doesn't exist because from what I've read on or what I've seen on Discovery Channel, 10 of the most venomous things in the world live in Australia. So, you know, doesn't really sound like a place I'd like to visit, actually.
What if that is part of
The conspiracy.
To keep you
like they're
away.
trying to keep you from going there.
Yeah.
It's all making sense.
Black mambas in every house. Crocodiles
There you go,
outside
dude.
every door.
Dude, that's why they do
Little kangaroo Joeys waiting to just bust your face in.
Crocodile Dundee. What we're saying is that Crocodile Dundee was CIA created propaganda to convince the global public that Australia is a real place.
Well, I mean, if that's all it took was Crocodile Dundee, I'm sold.
I was gonna make a Steve Irwin joke, but I think that'd be in poor taste. So why don't we just move on?
We have 3 listeners in Australia?
Dude, according to this, we
That's
do.
awesome.
Oh, baby. So, anyways, Josh, how you doing, man?
Oh, yeah, I'm doing all right. I had a really crappy week last week. Well,
Nice.
bad and good. You know, it was fine. But here's what made it terrible. I had to work on the road last week. I was gone for one day. Had to go visit the family. Had to go do some work. I'm sorry. I apologize. And then on my way home, I'm 2 hours outside of coming home, and I get a call from my wife. And it's about 30 minutes before school pickups. And she says, hey, I'm stranded on the side of the road, and I can't get a hold of anyone to pick up the kids. And I was like, crap. So I immediately start freaking out. By the way, I've got a call coming in on my personal cell phone, and I got calls coming in on my company cell phone. I'm driving down the road, and I'm trying to manage stuff. And so I asked her what happened. Apparently, she hit a really sharp, thick, sharp rock. And we have on our excursion, we have huge 22-inch rims with tires that are even larger. It came with it. They're supposed to be these massive, massive off-road tires, dude. Apparently she hit a rock that was just sharp at the point, and it punched a 5-inch hole in the tire. Oh. Just immediately popped it. So she's sitting on the side of the road and has to get a tow truck because we can't drive it anywhere, obviously, right? And we got no one answering the phone to go pick up our kids, and I'm 2 hours away. So I start immediately melting down. I'm just gosh dang it, just getting all angry and stuff like that. Anyway, that was a $425 replacement, by the way. That one tire. $425 for one tire. Next day, turbocharger goes out. On the excursion. Yeah, my excursion now goes from 0 to 60 in a minute and a half. I jumped on the highway the other day in the excursion, and I have it floored. I'm trying to gas it, and I have an 18-wheeler coming up on my side. I literally had to pull off the side of the highway to let an 18-wheeler pass me so that I could get back on and try and take off again.
So you're the guy that I'm honking at when I'm trying to get on the highway.
So I just bought...
Careful there, Doc Brown. You might go back to 1955.
So I just bought the piece today. I'm gonna replace it myself because I'm pretty good with auto mechanics actually. But I bought the new turbocharger today, $900.
Oh my!
Yeah, in a matter of 3 days, dude, I'm back almost $1,500. Set back $1,500 in 3 days. Oh. Yeah, it's awesome. Oh, and by the way, the tires on my F-250 are due, so I have to pay for those. And that's going to be about $1,200 to replace all the tires on my F-250. Oh, yeah. And my registration, my F-250 is due. And because I live in the People's Republic of California with a K, yeah, my registration's $800. And that's due in a month and a half. So,
and that's every year.
Yeah,
Rob, in case you
every
forgot.
year, Rob.
Some people are like, oh, yeah, my registration just came in. I paid $50 for the next 3 years. Oh, the government is forcing its hand on me. I'm no, dude. Unless you've lived in California, you have no idea.
Yeah, so shut your pie hole.
So what we're saying is if anybody has access to the dark web and knows how Josh can sell a kidney, we'd love you to just send us an email.
That'd be amazing. Actually, I would prefer half my liver because it will grow back. So, I mean, if we could do that, that'd be even better. Just let me know where to be.
Transfer half a liver?
Dude, you can transfer up to 3/4 of your liver.
Whoa.
And it'll grow back. It's amazing. You can't drink beer for a year and a half while it continues to grow back. But you're basically living on water, which everyone should, technically, right, Drew? Back me up on that one.
Should.
Yeah, should. So anyway.
The guy who got sauced on a sampler.
That's because I pretty much only drink water.
There you go.
So anyway, that was my week last week, and then it finally ended with just this beautiful nugget that I couldn't help but laugh about for an hour after it happened. This was amazing. This was a real life The Office moment. And not that it happened in the show, but it just reminded me of something that could have come from the show, right? So Friday, trying to close out business. And most of what I do is a lot of email, a lot of communication, speaking to people over the phone. And then I have to always do a lot of research. I provide a lot of guidance. I'm kind of in a support role. That's kind of what I do. I have to be a subject matter expert to get people in the right direction to do the right thing. And so I'm on my email, and I'm talking to people on the phone. And to close out my week, I had to get a notification sent out to a specific line of business and let them know that we have to file this paperwork. And in the email, I tell them exactly what they need to do. And I've made the attachments. And here's this other attachment that you can reference for any potential help. And I close out the statement with, if there is any other assistance that you need, please reach out to me directly by either email or phone, and we will set up a time to discuss. So that went to 3 levels of management for that line of business, right? An hour later, I get an email from one of the people I work with, and all that's in this email says, Josh, please assist as needed. And I'm like, what the heck is this?
What does that even mean?
I didn't even know what it was about. It just says, Josh, please assist as needed. So I look at the email prior to that because, you have to read the conversation backwards. That's how like our email chain works, right?
Yeah.
You read the conversation backwards. And so I read the email before it, and it's this superior level officer from the company saying, we're going to need additional support on this. This is to one of my bosses. We're going to need additional support on this. Can you tell us who's available to assist? So thus he says, Josh, please assist as needed. I was like, okay. I read the email before that. It comes from someone who works for him saying, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing here. Let me know what you need from me. And let me know if there's someone who can assist. And I'm like,
so no one read the email.
Okay. Then there was one before that finally rung with me because I saw like who it was to in the CCs, CC'd to. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. And I just skipped over it and went right down to the bottom. That was my original email. Please feel free to reach out to me directly and I will assist as needed. It went all the way up one chain from me, came back down my chain to me. So I respond to my boss and CC everybody and say, just want to let everybody know that I'm available as needed. Please see 5 emails ago.
Oh, talk about communication. That's like good stuff.
Nobody said anything, but I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, I mean, this literally I sent this out to 3 different people. It went up all the way to the top, came across, and came all the way back down to me directly.
Dude, they must have like all been doing something else.
They're all responding from the toilet.
Oh, dude. I mean, it was great. It was hilarious. It made my week because I was able to send that last email out and just walk away from my computer and be done for the rest of the day. And I just couldn't help but laugh. Like, it was so good. I actually felt like I was living in the office. That's exactly what it felt like. Or what was it? Dilbert? Dude, that could have been like a Dilbert caption, like straight up. Like that's what it felt like. It felt like a total comic strip. So
That feels like a Ron Swanson where he just is like, this is why I don't use email. Does nobody read what I write?
anyway, yeah, it was
awesome.
pretty awesome, dude. I loved it.
Nice.
So, yeah. How about you, man?
Oh, my week was pretty good. So, I used to pay the guy who lived across the street from me, who was the tweaker's boyfriend, to...
Every good story starts with a tweaker's boyfriend.
Is that his official title?
yeah. So I
He has
used
a business card with that on it.
I used
Tweaker's boyfriend.
He's got a patch on his shirt. What's your name? Oh, Tweaker's boyfriend. So I used to pay him to do my lawn, the front and the back, and
Wait, your actual house lawn, right?
Yeah, the house lawn,
front and back.
He would cut the grass. I could see how that could be confusing.
I want to make sure it's very clear because you never know what people are going to just take snippets of nowadays and use against you. So
It's already done.
Look what happened to R. Kelly.
I'm sure we'll get to that later.
Yes, you all show.
So I paid him like a month ago to mow the lawn, cut the grass at our house, front and back. And so, but it was getting dark when he got done doing the front yard. And so I paid him to do all of it. And I said, hey, do you promise that you're going to come back tomorrow and finish the job? And he was like, wow. Oh yes, Drew, I promise.
You promised the tweaker's boyfriend.
Hang on. Dude, he's been doing the yard for a while now, years. So
if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So I trusted him. And the next day he didn't show up and I didn't see him around. And then like the next day and then the next day, dude, weeks went by. And so I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I see his girlfriend doing tweaker stuff out the street.
Where's your boyfriend?
Yeah. That's why I asked. I said, where's your boyfriend at? And she could, dude, you're not going to believe this.
Please tell me you said it like that. That would have been great.
Dude, so I asked where he's at. And then she goes, we took a break. And then I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting.
Before you go any further, why do I keep picturing Burt Reynolds saying that? Hey, Twinka! Chewing gum.
Where's your boyfriend?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So she was like, oh, yeah, we broke up. You know, he really needs to work on himself. And then... Yeah.
This is the tweaker.
Yes.
To be clear.
Yes. And then she says, and then she says, we both wanted different things. And I thought to myself, I thought you guys both wanted meth. Maybe I had it pegged wrong.
My bad.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, but I want red. He wants blue.
So now I've been put in this position, dude, where I've been mowing my own grass and picking up my own dog poop, and I don't like it.
First world problems.
Yeah. So these kids knocked on our door. They were probably like, I don't know, 13, 14. And last week, Tuesday, 6 p.m., it's dark, dude. And they knock on the door, and I answer it, and I'm like, yes? And he's all, hey, can we cut your grass? And I'm like, well, it's raining, and it's dark out, so probably not right now. And he's all, well, when would be a good time? I was like, I don't know, when the sun's out. Like right now would be kind of inconvenient. So
is this
like any normal person?
Is this Tweaker's boyfriend? Or Tweaker's brother?
No, these are people. Okay. These are kids I've never seen before. And so I was like, hey, come back Friday. I'll pay you guys to mow the lawn. You seem like you want work. So they show up Friday, and I let them start mowing the lawn and everything. Well, they didn't have a bag on the mower, and they opened up the side vent so that it just shoots straight out. Dude, all the way across the front of our house, like 6 feet high, there's wet grass. Just caked across it, dude. My truck, both sides, because there was grass on each side. Both sides, dude, there's just grass all the way up to the all the way up to the top.
Grassy racing stripe.
You know what would have made it so much better is while they're out there doing that, all of a sudden Tweaker's boyfriend shows up and is like, what the hell? We had a deal.
Dude, I wish. I'm not going to lie. I kind of miss him. He was quick. I don't know if it was the meth. And he just got the job done, dude. And he was cheap.
So what if he talked to somebody who wasn't there while he was out there?
Doesn't bother me.
He got the grass done.
Yeah. So I had to leave while these kids were like in the middle of cutting the grass. And when I came home, there was grass in both of our driveways, covered in both of our driveways, out in the street. all over the dude. Our neighbor's truck, all the way across the side of it, dude.
Oh my gosh,
it was everywhere,
dude.
So you paid these kids?
Yeah, I paid them $10 a piece, dude, to cut a rectangle.
You can't trust teenagers to do anything.
No,
like anything.
It
at
was
all.
terrible. So 2 of them showed up, and they only had 1 lawnmower.
So
And
the other
when I
one
looked
watched.
yeah, there was like a husky kid, and then there was a skinny kid. And when I looked out the window, the husky kid was trying to push the mower, and he did not look like he was having a good time, dude. And the skinny kid's just sitting there drinking his soda on his cell phone.
Yep, that sounds about right. Yep. Yeah.
So then I had to go and fix it all because they barely cut it down at all. So I'm out there, dude. We have this big tree in our front yard, and it always gets a lot of attention from the birds. So my wife and I are sitting out there, and there's like all of these berries, it looks like, on the driveway. And I'm like, man, I don't really see any berries in the tree, but they must have all fallen off and just kind of splatted on the ground. So I'm working underneath this tree, dude. And all of a sudden, one of those berries hits me. And it splatted, and that's how I knew it wasn't a berry.
Oh no!
I got crapped on by a bird.
And 2 teenagers, apparently.
And by tweakers.
Yeah, dude. So at the end of the day, I paid a tweaker $20 to not do the yard. Then I paid 2 kids $20 to make a mess of the yard. And then I went out there and cleaned it myself, and I got crapped on.
Sounds like an awesome week.
Yeah. Friday and Saturday rocked.
Well, here's the deal, Drew. You sounds like you had a rough week, but somebody who had possibly an even rougher week was Mr. R. Kelly, and we're going to talk about that when we come back. So stay with us.
Hi, I'm Adam.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Rob, and we're 3 friends who work together
And love The Office.
And on March 15th, which just so happens to be Michael Scott's birthday, we're launching a watch-along companion podcast for The Office called
Everybody in the conference room.
The Office Watch-Along Companion Podcast.
That's a mouthful.
That's what she said.
Join us as we go episode by episode, celebrating our favorite Office moments.
Beloved characters.
And rank Jim's pranks from best to even better.
Join us every Friday starting March 15th for Everybody in the Conference Room, wherever you get your podcasts.
Unless there's downsizing.
Wait, there's going to be downsizing? Should I be worried?
Maybe. All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. And like I said before the break, Drew, you had a craptacular week, but somebody who's had an even rougher week, Mr. R. Kelly, back in the news again, and it is not looking good for him, fellas. Oh, God.
Was it ever looking good?
Dude, when he was making that Space Jam money, he was probably flying high, bro. But,
Dude, if he bounces back again, it's almost kind of impressive, right?
he's bulletproof, dude. He bounces back again. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Let's see. Space Jam. That was about the last time a lot of people were making a lot of money. I'm pretty sure that was the last time Warner Brothers made money. Definitely the last time Michael Jordan made money.
So, dude, everybody, I think like most people probably saw the interview that he did with, what was the lady's name? Was it
Gayle King.
Yeah.
Gayle
Gayle
King.
That's right.
Yeah.
So she interviewed him, and dude, did you guys see that interview?
Yes.
I watched like a maybe like a 13-minute. I don't know how long it was.
Dude. Yeah, it was 13 minutes.
Oh,
like,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
it wasn't any longer than that, I don't think. Not from what I saw. But I mean, it was amazing. He really uses a lot of poor choice words. Like one phrase that he kept saying over and over and over is, "Everyone keep lying on me." Yeah, they were. That's what you're being accused of. At least you're telling us all what happened. Like
He did remind. I hate to bring him up again, but he did remind me of somebody who was on an episode of To Catch a Predator, dude. Like some of the things that he said. Like he had one that really stuck out to me, dude. When he said, "I've been buried alive, but I'm alive."
but I'm still alive.
I mean, dude, when you
That's right, dude. That was. I was like, what?
Because he tried to make it all like, dramatic and stuff.
Yeah.
So I've been buried alive, but I'm alive. You're like, oh, dude, that's creepy. You're creepy.
Okay, I'm making some predictions here. He's either his next album is going to be called Buried Alive, or he's going to release, similar to like Trapped in the Closet, the opera that he did. He's going to do a Buried Alive.
Dude, he needs to, because he needs to get away from songs and albums that have sex titles, because it's not doing him any justice, dude. His newest album was called Black Panties. Come on, man.
You're not helping anything.
Dude, that
What
was.
are you doing?
It's not like it's wholesome music, like you're writing all this dirty stuff, dude, that's probably about encounters that you're being complained about right now.
Okay, so
Yeah.
one of the things that was. Go ahead.
He had an album called The Buffet. I don't think he's talking about Hometown.
No.
Oh no. Oh no, dude. Oh no, R. Kelly. He had one called Chocolate Factory. What are you doing? Dang it.
I loved how Gayle King just kept calling him Robert. Robert. Robert.
She's like his mom. Dude, when you see an interview and like there's moments when she's like, all these women are doing all, saying all these things and stuff. Are you telling me that they're all lying? And he's like looking at her and he's like, absolutely. I'm innocent. I'm innocent. And he's like,
Use your common sense. Why would I do all the stuff I already did again?
I just want to see my kids, man. Well, stop being a criminal.
Stop breaking the law. But it's like he has those moments in the interview where he's incredibly creepy and it seems like, oh no, this guy for sure is guilty. But then, dude, like when he's like, you're killing me with this, like he's all crazy and stuff. You're like, dang. I will say though, there was a sweet meme that somebody did where that moment in the interview they superimposed a table between him and Gayle King and put some Uno cards. She's holding a draw forward. And it's all, when somebody plays a draw forward, he's like, I'm fighting for my life. You're killing me. It was so good. It was so good. Oh, man.
I'm sure there's a lot of things you can come up with on that one, man. So SNL did a skit on, or did a sketch on this. And it was pretty funny. If anyone's a Kenan Thompson fan, like I suggest that you go watch it because it was pretty funny. The first thing that was really funny about when it stood out wasn't even about R. Kelly. Well, I mean, he's acting as R. Kelly, and then I can't remember what her name is from Ghostbusters. Leslie something is Gayle King. I can't remember what her last name is.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyway. There's a line in the sketch. He doesn't remember what her name is, so he just refers to her as Oprah's friend. I thought that part was really funny.
Wait. That Gayle King is the Oprah Gayle King?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. That's why he says Oprah's friend. He's like, that's why I came on the show to do this interview with you. Oprah's friend. So I thought that was really funny. The other part that was hilarious, if you watch the actual interview, R. Kelly's publicist comes in as he's, having that meltdown. He's trying to calm him down and like trying to back him up and everything, right? In the SNL sketch, it was hilarious. Not the same publicist, but guy playing the publicist comes in and he's like, just calm down, man. Just calm down. He's like trying to rub his shoulders and stuff. He's like, just calm down. And R. Kelly's like, how do you think this is going? He's like, this is going real good. Like, yeah, this only helps you. So funny, dude.
Dude, they said since all this stuff started, his streams went up like 16%.
Yeah, on Spotify. Yeah, it was pretty insane.
Okay, but did you hear that recently Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, like all of them dropped him?
Really?
Yes. So he's not even available on there anymore from what I read. But dude, I mean, some of the allegations, I mean, it's pretty rough, right? Like something about a sex cult. What's happening?
A what? A what?
They were saying, and I was reading some other articles, that he had a quote unquote sex cult.
Oh,
where he
cult.
Had, like,
Oh.
That's another thing. They say I have a cult.
Home.
I don't even know what that is.
Funny, dude. I was like, what? What? Like, seriously?
Dude, that part was so funny because he was like, all the rumors, man. And she was like, what are the rumors specifically that stand out to you? He's all, I don't even know. Like, you don't know any of the rumors that you're being accused of? Like, what were you accused? Why were you put in jail?
Dude.
What was that about?
So that was another thing SNL did a really good job of. He's going back to that part right there, the cult thing. He's like sitting there trying to think of the word cult. He was like, everyone's saying I'm like in a, what's that word? Starts with a Q. And Gayle King's like, a cult? He's like, yeah, a cult. She's like, that doesn't start with a Q. So everything like through the rest of the interview was like a word that started with Q, and it was like stupid words that would start with like A, but he was like, it starts with a Q. So I'm trying to understand what the significance of the Q was, because it was really funny because it just recurred. But yeah, dude, the whole cult discussion, that was, or just the comment, the response back from him about the cult. Like, I'm just like, oh my God,
dude. I'm just wondering how this guy survives like in normal daily life when you go out in public. So back in 2013, he did this thing leading up to an album where he got on Twitter and he was opening up Twitter to questions so that people could ask him questions and he would respond. Idea. So apparently he only responded to 16 questions.
Because it was done.
No, that he quit because his publicist came out and said, "You're doing real good. This is going well."
He stopped. So one person wrote. So R. Kelly only answered 16 questions. The perv really cannot do anything over 18.
That's
no.
Very observant of that follower.
I mean, like, when you think about this, like, okay, so he got brought up on like child porn charges a while back, and it was like he totally got like not acquitted. Like, it was just like none of it panned out.
Yeah, no, it went through. Dropped, right? It went through trial, and they just found him not guilty. Yeah,
14. But dude, 14 charges though. That's a lot of allegations for none of them to pan out.
Did anyone else notice in the interview that Gayle King kept asking him about, so you've never sexually abused anyone under 17? That was the entire premise of the conversation, under 17. And I'm like,
I didn't notice that now.
If you abuse somebody at 17, technically, aren't you still a criminal? Like, why is 17 the benchmark here? Like, that's what she kept asking about. Like, and he's like, no.
So he's not denying abusing women. They've just all been of age.
Yeah,
sure, totally. If you want to consider 17 of age.
Well, it depends on what state you live in. Different states have different.
I thought federally, man, 18 was it.
No, different states have different age of consent.
I was gonna Google age of consent, but I feel like that would be a bad idea.
Probably a terrible idea.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Sounds like a good band name, though.
Oh my gosh! No, dude, I was thinking Tweaker's Boyfriend could be a good band name.
It sounds like R. Kelly's next album.
Age of consent.
Dude, I just feel like, dude. And then he released. Did you hear that he released a song on SoundCloud called "I Admit It"?
No.
Oh, it was. I mean, why is he doing this? R. Kelly, what are you doing?
Is that the same as if O.J. Simpson released that book, What If I Did It?
If I did it. Yeah, if I did it, here's how it happened, or something like that. I mean, you're looking at this, you're watching this interview, and I'm like, okay, if all of this stuff is true, or even if like a good portion of it or any of it is true, like this guy deserves to like get, there should be some justice. But if not, dude, and you hear him being like, I want to have a life with my kids and all that stuff. If like all of this is made up, it seems far fetched. But if it is, like, dude, that sucks, man.
Now I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard this multiple times, and I've heard it on the radio and read articles about him marrying a 15-year-old girl. So
Yeah, that's true. That happened.
I don't know of any state that has a consent.
Arkansas.
There's this little pocket over here.
His track record is not doing well for him. Well, dude, I was combing through. Here's the thing. I'm combing through the internet and I'm looking for information and articles about what's going on with R. Kelly. And I saw this article about the mayor of New York. Did you guys see this?
Oh, yes. Yes,
So
did see this.
It raises a lot of questions for me. So the headline, it was on Fox News. It's actually all over the place, but the one I have up is Fox News. It says, NYC mayor seen flapping to R. Kelly's I Believe I Can Fly amid child abuse claims. So there is a video on Twitter. The mayor of New York is in a church, and for some reason this church is singing R. Kelly's I Believe I Can Fly from Space Jam. That's the first problem. But in the video, you see Mayor de Blasio of New York up at the front of the church, in front of everybody, like flapping his arms like Angels in the Outfield style to the song. I just don't get it.
Was this Danny Glover's church?
It could happen.
You said Angels in the Outfield. Oh, the Danza was in that movie too.
Dude, the Danza was in that movie.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
But, dude, so the defense here is he's claiming that he didn't realize that R. Kelly sang I Believe I Can Fly. So that's... But I'm like, sure, yeah, but also, what are you doing, like up at the front of a church, flapping your arms?
Wait,
to, I believe, no matter
what
who
kind
sings
of church
it.
was it?
It was a gospel
church
church, Drew.
It was a church in South Carolina. That's all I know.
Oh, so it wasn't like a Catholic church, because that would make sense.
Yeah, he's up at the altar of a Catholic church
with the Pope
playing. I
with
believe
the Pope. all I know is that R. Kelly, Michael Jackson would like to posthumously say thank you for shouldering some of this heat.
Yeah.
Everyone's Michael finally resting in peace.
That's if he's dead.
Ooh.
He just joined Elvis.
Oh, okay. On the dark side of the moon.
Perfect timing, though, dude. The documentary comes out, allegations surface again on Michael Jackson, and now R. Kelly's back in the spotlight. I guess, if you've learned anything, it's to stay away from pop music.
Nothing good comes from pop music.
Well, speaking of if we've learned anything, why don't we head to that time that we all look forward to? Let's talk about what we've learned tonight. Number one, we've learned that the hottest Fire album that's going to drop in 2019 is going to be by the new band Tweaker's Boyfriend. So just be watching for that. It's going to be so good.
Subtitled Age of Consent.
We're going to do a metal cover of I Believe I Can Fly. It's going to be so good. Number two, we didn't start out this way, but I don't know about you guys, but I now have serious doubts about the existence of Australia.
Oh, definitely.
I have a feeling we'll see a Netflix documentary about it within a year.
I just, I feel like I have to back my homies up no matter how stupid they can be. Like,
I wouldn't do that.
Speaking of, next week's episode, you guys want to watch Behind the Curve and talk about the Flat Earth documentary on
No,
Netflix?
I'm not going to watch that garbage.
He's already seen it like 11 times.
I know, for real.
He wore out his hard copy.
We're gonna watch it, and all of a sudden you're gonna see him on there with a little thing that's all Josh Frankenstein flat earther. Guys. All right, and number three, it was a church in South Carolina that the mayor was flapping his wings to I Believe I Can Fly, but I think next we want to see the Pope at the Vatican doing I Believe I Can Fly.
In support of his brother.
That's right, dude. Can you just imagine, like, everybody just waiting to see the Pope, and he comes up flapping his wings? I believe I can fly. Oh, it'd be so good. We just want to say thank you so much for listening and supporting the show. Make sure that wherever you get your podcast, you leave us a review there. It really helps out. Go tell a friend about the show and check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/youmehepodcast. Good stuff there. And until next time, I'm Rob.
I'm Drew.
I am out of here.
We'll see you guys next time.